Everyone talks about boomers and their houses. Everyone talks about millennials and their student loans. Everyone talks about Gen Z and their 4 side hustles. But there's one generation nobody talks about, and they're quietly the strangest with money of all, Gen X. Born between 1965 and 1980, they save like the apocalypse is coming, and then drop $500 on a concert ticket the same week. Today, we're breaking down the most contradictory money psychology in America and the one moment in history that created it. Picture 1983. You're a kid standing next to your dad at the bank. He deposits the same paycheck from the same company every 2 weeks. He's got a pension, a savings account that actually pays interest, a mortgage that'll be paid off right on schedule. The rule was simple: work hard, save money, retire safe. Now jump to 2008. That same kid is 35 years old. He did everything right, and in 6 months, he watches his 401k cut in half, his house lose value, and his stable company lay off people who'd been loyal for 20 years. The rulebook was a lie. And that one betrayal rewired how an entire generation would handle money for the rest of their lives. So how do you build a financial identity around a broken promise? Turns out, very strangely. Contradiction number 1. Gen X is one of the most anxious generations about retirement and one of the most consistent savers. Around 70% say they're terrified they won't have enough, but they also post some of the highest 401k contribution rates of any generation. They don't believe the system will work, and they max out their contributions anyway. Psychologists have a name for this: defensive pessimism. Expect disaster, prepare obsessively, and you're covered when it actually happens. It's exhausting, but it's kept them financially afloat while feeling completely unsafe the entire time. Contradiction 2. Gen X basically invented the side hustle before it had a hashtag. They have higher rates of self-employment and side income than both millennials and boomers, but almost none of them quit their day job. Why? Because in the 90s, they watched their parents' coworkers walk out the door with a cardboard box after 20 years of loyalty. No warning, no severance that mattered. The side hustle isn't a dream, it's an escape hatch they hope they never have to use. Insurance, not ambition. If any of this is hitting a little too close to home, drop a comment telling me which one you relate to most. I read every one. Contradiction 3, and this one confuses marketers constantly. Gen X will quit a company with zero hesitation, but they're fiercely loyal to the brands they grew up with. Over 30% more likely than millennials to stick with the brands from their youth, even when a cheaper option exists. Makes sense once you think about it. Companies betrayed them. Brands and people they trust didn't. So they'll leave a job by email, but drive across town for the coffee shop where the owner remembers their order. Here's the strangest one. Gen X has high savings rates and healthy emergency funds. They're also the generation spending the most on concerts, travel, and live events, around $3,000 a year, more than any other generation in real dollars. Financially paranoid and experientially extravagant at the same time. Same root cause, 2 different responses. They save because systems can't be trusted. They spend on experiences because stuff can't be trusted either. Your house can go underwater. Your car depreciates the second you drive it off the lot. But that one unforgettable trip, that concert, nobody can repossess a memory. Gen X is also the least likely generation to use a financial advisor, and one of the most anxious about whether they're managing money correctly. They'd rather build their own spreadsheet, read the books, and learn it themselves. Not out of arrogance, out of self-defense. They watched their own parents hand everything over to experts and watched those pensions evaporate. So now, trust no one's advice without checking it twice yourself. Here's a stat that surprises people. Gen X carries the highest total debt of any generation. But look closer, and it's incredibly strategic debt. They'll take on a $400,000 mortgage without blinking, but refuse to carry a $2,000 credit card balance. The difference is control. A mortgage is predictable. Fixed payments, a clear finish line. Credit card debt is chaos with no ceiling, and they watched it swallow their parents' finances in the 80s and 90s. So the rule isn't never borrow, it's only borrow what you can map to zero. Last one, and it sounds old-fashioned, but it's actually genius. Most Gen Xers still keep physical paper copies of important documents, way more than younger generations. Not because they don't trust technology, they built half of it, but they also remember system crashes, lost records, and digital-only promises that quietly disappeared. So they run redundancy by design. Digital banking app? Yes. Paper backup? Also yes. Cloud storage? Sure. Fireproof safe? Obviously. So Gen X isn't confused with money. They're not contradictory. They're adapted, built for an economy that promised them stability and gave them chaos instead. They trust nothing, prepare for everything, and keep showing up anyway. Because what's the alternative? If you relate to even one of these habits, let me know in the comments which generation you actually are. A lot of us are picking these habits up too. And if you want more deep dives into the psychology behind how we handle money, subscribe, because the next one's even weirder.